So did anybody ever actually see the movie called Babette's Feast? Babette's Feast. I think it came out in the late 80s, maybe. Anyway, certainly in the early 90s. So forgive a little bit of idle talk, but I was thinking about it in the kitchen this morning as I was thinking about giving this little talk. And the story of Babette's Feast, it's a foreign film, Scandinavian. I think the setting is in Norway, and there are two women, probably in their 60s, who have carried on their father's tradition of a Calvinistic Protestant way of life. So they live and they're leaders of this community of people who are now, well, maybe they're more like in their 70s. Anyway, they're up there. They've been together for a long time, living a celibate life, keeping this very strict Protestant ethic for the glory of God. Right? And it's set shortly after the French Revolution. So the story is that way years before, a young general had taken refuge with this community and kind of fallen for one of the girls, but of course he went back to make his career in the French army. And so you see that he's helping a woman escape from the revolution. She's a restaurant owner and a cook. And so what does he do? He pays her way and sends a letter to please have these women take her in and protect her. And they say, and he says, she's a good cook, she'll be able to take care of you. So she arrives in this community. They remember his kindness. Yes, of course, you can stay here. Here's what we eat. So she's a French chef of the fanciest, ritziest place in Paris. That's why she has to get out of there, because she's been serving, the aristocracy. So she's like on their side. So she comes there, and they show her how they eat, like boiled cabbage, no salt. Carrots, no nothing. So she begins to serve them. And she cooks for them for these years. And so slowly the past comes out, and you get this whole story. And then one day there comes in this post, this little notice, that a lottery ticket that someone had bought for her, I think. Anyway, she's won a lottery. The revolution is over, Paris is back in shape, and she suddenly has a lot of money for the first time. So what does she do? She actually books a passage back to Paris, shops the markets like crazy, puts all these foods in a little boat, and comes back to this little community and makes them a feast. Everything she ever would have done in this Parisian restaurant, she now serves to these people. And so, they're very quiet, very polite. They're a little puzzled about what they're eating, but, they taste, and it's okay. So they eat. They have a lovely, pleasant time. They kind of heal old wounds over this delicious food. And then they go out into the night, and you have no impression whatsoever that they're ever going to eat like this again, that she's ever going to cook like this again. But for once, after giving from her heart, out of gratitude for them saving her life, that she's been serving boiled cabbage for all of these years, she, for once, is able to make a feast that really comes from her skill. So I was thinking about that this morning and how similar it is to come to a monastery. Whether it's for a visit or whether you come to live in some ways. We all have a whole past. We have all these skills, we have maybe talents, and then you come and somebody hands you a rag. Or somebody hands you a broom or hands you clippers and says, so maybe you know how to make the most fantastic souffle there is, but they say no garlic, no onions, no meat. Here, boil some cabbage for us. And how willing people are to just give in that way. I was thinking about this because yesterday, of course, our guest Kimberly had a chance to share a skill that was quite a gift for us, and appreciate it. And often people come with other skills that we don't discover, or the timing isn't right for them to share them, and they simply, clean the bathrooms the whole time they're there, and yet it's the same gift, right? So same thing with us as residents. You come with some idea about, well, I know this and I know that and I know that and I know that. And you come here and, well, maybe people want you to do it, maybe they don't. Or maybe they don't want you to do it the way you used to do it. So it becomes quite a, I think most of us who have been here for any length of time have talked about how we have to shed our ideas about who we are and how we offer and what we know and what our skill is. And once in a while you get to actually do something that you have some background in. But I guess the point of that was thinking about this continuing thing about harmony, the harmonies of living in community, and how a part of the training is to shed the things that we want to offer, and to offer what's needed at any given moment. And so that story about Babette's Feast, it really was my all-time favorite movie. Please don't go download it now that I've talked about it. Anybody who lives here, it's not worth that because it also has a lot of attachment and blah, blah, blah in it. But the story of being able to give just, and letting the ego drop, has always been quite touching for me and not easy for me, therefore a very good lesson for me. So may we, as we come together and cultivate harmony in body and harmony in speech, and harmony in mind and our harmony in our precepts and harmony in the guidelines that we keep and so forth, harmony mentally too, may we really learn the value of simply giving what's needed in any given moment. I think that's quite precious. Sometimes we have to rise to do things we don't know how to do, and sometimes we have to just subdue something that we do know how to do and let it go.